Welcome to a new Daily Top Askreddit video. Today's topic: what can the average American do in response to Roe v. Wade being overturned? The ruling essentially says abortion is now something people vote on. So vote, I guess. Vote in state and local elections. So many people only pay attention to national politics. Your voice is most powerful at the local and state level. Stay informed and educate others. Vote in every election, not just the presidential one. Yep. Being from Maine, this couldn't be more true. Thanks a lot, Susan Collins. I personally blame your state for so much because of her. How could they vote her back in? So sad. Vote in your local elections and force abortion rights to be election issues. RVW says that abortion rights is now up to the state government, so vote accordingly and let them know how they can get your votes. To add to this, vote even if you live in a state that will not ban abortion. It should be clear to everyone now that we take our rights for granted because it could be taken away one day. So vote, no matter what. Also, local elections matter. In the county that I live in, only 10% of people voted in the primaries. Stay engaged and make time to do your research and vote. It's important. Our future and livelihood depend on it. If you're in Michigan, or other states where pro-choice folks are fighting to get it on the ballot, figure out where they are collecting signatures for the petition to get it on the ballot in November, sign, and volunteer to help find more people to sign the petition. Here's a link: https://www.mobilize.us/MyAProFreedom/event/449898. Mods, if the link isn't allowed, I'll edit and just say what to Google. But make sure you read what you're actually signing. Some people in Michigan were asking people to sign a petition for reproductive freedom, but it was actually a pro-life petition. Excellent point. This is a little bit of a long one, but the story is important. In 2011 in Virginia, Republicans swept statewide elections. They had the governor, lieutenant governor, both houses of the legislature, and they had appointed the majority of justices on the state Supreme Court. They immediately began trying to ban abortion. House Bill 1 was a fetal personhood bill, and there were about a dozen more ugly ones too. These bills were expected to sail through with no real hurdles. A grassroots movement sprung up. A core group of people who had met and networked during the Occupy protests began planning protest actions. They were able to attract support from people who were not your typical protest crowds, and throughout the actions a lot of suburban, older women drove into Richmond to participate. Over several protests about 24 people were arrested, and later acquitted. Protests were confronted by riot police as well as little green men hiding in the bushes with assault rifles. However, the protests largely remained peaceful. The state Democratic Party and organizations like Planned Parenthood and ARL were literally calling the organizers and begging them to stop categorizing the Republicans, but the organizers remained steadfast. In the end, we won. Most of the bad bills were defeated, and Republicans proceeded to lose every statewide election for the next 10 years. They ultimately lost both houses of the legislature as well, for the first time since the 80s. Bob Marshall, who authored HB 1, was defeated by Virginia's first openly transgender legislator, Danica Roem. So ultimately, here is what I would say to remember. The protests are important. What's more important is the networks that form at them. When you attend, try to meet people. Have potlucks. Get to know each other. You will come to rely on each other more than you think. Voting is important too, but only showing up to vote every 2 or 4 years and posting angry memes in between is not going to save us. Our institutions have repeatedly failed us despite more people voting in every election. We will be the ones to save ourselves. I also would add, since this is a national forum, the right to a safe abortion in VA is currently being maintained by, effectively, 2 state senators. That's it. If you have ever felt like voting for your state representation doesn't matter, it does. At the midterms, that swing could be enough to completely change the status of abortion in Virginia if Democrats continue to lose seats. It sucks to admit, but protest votes or sitting out because it doesn't matter to you has real consequences. Republicans have been chasing this goal and coordinating for decades. So many conservative-leaning folks, no matter their difference of opinion, fall in line when push comes to shove because they have a few goals that they prioritize over all other issues. DEMs have been complacent. Same in part. Doug Mastriano, running for governor, is against abortion and said he will end it via executive order and codify it, even if the pregnancy is a product of rape or incest, or even if it's a risk to the mother's life. Vote this November in Pennsylvania, folks, and do not vote for Doug Mastriano if you care about reproductive rights / contraception and gay rights. This is a cry for help. Vote this November. In addition to all of the great advice here, regarding voting, letters, petitions, etc. Stock up on pregnancy tests, Plan B, and birth control. I've already noticed a shortage of pregnancy tests in the last week. Be an advocate and an educator for any woman you know that may need help. I am a grown woman with 2 young adult daughters as well as a young daughter. My partner has a young adult daughter. And I work in an industry where I regularly have younger female co-workers that were never properly educated on their bodies or reproductive systems. I recently explained to a young girl pregnant with her 3rd child how ovulation works. She had no clue. I teach these girls how to track their periods. Edit to add, apparently period tracker apps are no longer safe. Get your cycle details from your app, then delete it. Start tracking your periods using dots on a paper calendar. Dot on the first day. Dot on the last day. Rinse. Repeat. Help them use the resources they aren't even aware are available to them for free and low-cost birth control. I encourage them to stock and use dollar store pregnancy tests at the slightest worry they might be pregnant, and make sure they know I've got backups. Unfortunately, the system has failed educating these girls. Bet you can guess where I live, and now it's failing them again by punishing them for their lack of education. I won't stand for it. Education is now key. Here are a few tips. Dollar store pregnancy tests are as reliable as the expensive ones. They are mass-produced by companies and intended for people going through IVF, fertility issues, etc. I have never had a false negative or positive with one. I keep several on hand at all times. Amazon has a brand of Plan B called My Choice for $10. Other places like H-E-B and some Walmarts also stock this brand for around $20. You do not have to pay $50 for Plan B. The generic version is the same as the brand name. Same drug, same dose. Stock up. There are rumors Plan B will be taken from us too. Edited to add, since it's been asked / mentioned a few times, shelf life is 4 years. It's also been recommended to order from online suppliers, as they have plenty of stock, and it won't be being taken from store shelves for people who need it right away. Edited to add. Plan C abortion pill access despite your state. Look into state-provided women's Medicaid programs. Medicaid is super hard to qualify for, unless you are a senior or a child, but most states have programs simply for women's health. They cover wellness visits and birth control. Even Backwoods, Texas offers Healthy Texas Women. Pretty much any woman without insurance qualifies for this. Check out heyfavor.com. They are a wealth of knowledge and information and supplies. Accepts most insurances as well as Medicaid. They send birth control pills to my address every month. Support and advocate for the women in your lives. Nobody else will. I am in full support of everything in this comment. I'm simultaneously terrified to see the heartless bastards that upsold toilet paper to shitty-ass people in quarantine make a run on all of the tests, pills, condoms, etc. and try to profit off of it as the inventory runs short. Nothing seems to be more American these days than fucking over all of the people in unfortunate financial situations. Had a conversation with a user who was clearly engaging in bad faith. They finally said, "It doesn't affect me, so why should I care?" And that's the heart of it. I got mine, fuck you. The sheer volume of apathy and lack of empathy is appalling. The day Iceland's women went on strike, http://www.bbc.co.uk/news/magazine-34602822. Voting is pissing into the wind the way our government is structured. It's not completely ineffective, but how many women will we allow to suffer and die between now and however many voting cycles this takes? A general strike that grinds this country to a halt will have abortion rights enshrined in the Constitution within 2 weeks, and I'll tell you why. With the exception of the ultra-religious utjobes in Congress, all of the shithead Republicans, and all of the spineless piece of shit Democrats are both beholden to big business, not the voters. Paralyze the economy, shut this country down, fill the streets and refuse to back down, and this will be resolved in no time. Yup. A general strike is best led by the existing unions. If you're in one, talk to your leadership. If you're not, spread the word and follow their lead. I'm surprised there isn't a more coordinated effort for a general strike yet. I've seen a few Reddit posts for a strike on Monday, but nothing at a big enough scale that it's broken through to mainstream media, or even social networks like Facebook or Twitter. I wonder if there's any hope of a large-scale strike actually happening.